Hello, it's the voice of Lizzie here. I'm going to show you a few clips of Fluffy. He's up in his hangout spot. He moved just before I got up there so that I had to remove the step. There's Spot and Kitty, my two furry animals, moving the step to try and get him. Stereo just moved because he knew I was going to get him down. But in the next clip, you're going to hear the voice and then you're going to see my 2-year-old niece. She loves Fluffy. She thinks Fluffy is her best friend. And Fluffy, look, he doesn't care. But people think snakes aren't good to have around small children or to have around other animals. And I just don't think that's true. It's about the same as having any other big pet.
Showing Tipito. Showing the fluff.
No. You patted him earlier. You patted him earlier, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. Nah, he doesn't want to go in the hammock. Baby. Oh, hi, baby. Hi. This is Fluffy's pretty standard position. He loves to be a little donut and use himself as a pillow. Now, Fluffy, he's the one I've had the second longest. I got him to replace a snake of mine called Legless who had died like 3 months earlier. He was just young and didn't eat, and eventually small snakes that don't eat, that's what happens. But Fluffy is a good boy. He is basically toilet trained, like actually, but he's also an idiot. And I love him. I call him my little floof because he's the floofiest of boys on the inside. Hey, Fluffy. What's up, buddy? Hi. Yeah, I thought you'd want to come out. Yeah. Oh, you do want to come out? Oh, you do? Oh, you do? Okay. No, hi, baby. This is what Fluffy does in what I like to call his time of the month. Kind of his digested food. It's all, come out, and he's not in shed. Hi, baby. Yes, hi, sweetheart. Hey, look at your little dimples. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Come on. Come on. Come on. Are you gonna... He's coming into my... Yep, okay. Yep, come on, baby. Good boy. Oh, Baba. There you are. And this is what he does. No holding on. I hold you? Should I hold you? No? Yep. You gonna wrap her? No? That's not your style, is it? Oh, yeah. There's a kitty in the background. Hello? Hello? You wanna... Hello, kitty. Oh, there's a big yawn. I know, because it's late at night. You wanna say hi to Fluffy? Oh, Fluffy, you are not cooperating. Say hi, Fluffy. Nothing from either of you. And say hi. Hi to the spotty. Oh yes, that's a warm boob. Okay. Do you want to... Now I'm getting ready to feed them, and before I feed them, I like to weigh them. I weigh them kind of after they've gone to the toilet fully, and then depending on the time between when they eat and when they've gone to the toilet that last time, normally I just weigh them again. And so here I'm getting Fluffy out to weigh him. Look at his little face. Oh, look, I love it when they're a donut. It's so good. There's a little cinnamon scroll. Oh, he's so beautiful. Okay, yeah, so I'll get Fluffy out. It's quite easy to get out. I just grab the little scroll. Hello, puppy. And then he's like, what's happening? And then I'll put him in this box that I think we've had since like Christmas this year. Obviously, I think it came from Costco. My sister bought it with chocolates, and it just fits perfectly on the scales. And so I've already tared the scales. Yeah, and he's 2.92, so he's doing quite well actually. Yeah, so now I'll put him away. As you'll see on the floor, whoop, there it is. I've just taken the food. It's frozen, and I've still got the lid on, and then it's got hot water. And so I'm wanting to do this, weigh them before they realise there's food. Fluffy really won't realise there's food until I put it in his face. And as I'm recording this audio, I know that I really have to put it in his face, but I'll explain that later. So, yep, he's like, but what? I want it? Nah, he's going in because honestly, yeah, it's just too much effort, and I don't want to ferret it. And where's girlfriend? Where is he? There he is. He can hear me laughing while I'm recording this because he can smell the food. He's like, I can smell food. Yeah, but I don't smell like food yet. So I'm fine because I haven't really touched the rats, and since I put them in with the water, I've washed my hands again. So now I'm just gonna take apart all of this to get him out. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he's a big chunky boy. Oh my gosh, and he's holding on. That's what he held on to. I was wondering what he was holding on to. Yeah, he lets go pretty quickly, and he comes out. And I'm going to try and put it back. That's the thermometer probe. But as I'm doing this, he's about to hook his head onto the shit. There he is. Oh, look at the bastard. Oh, my gosh. Why? Why do you hate me? Why? You're such a butt. But I love you. Why do they do this? I get him out. I like poke him with the camera and poke him with my finger, and he gets out. Like I boop him, and then I put it away, and I'm much more careful to know that he doesn't try and crawl around. But snakes, they're wriggly creatures, much more wriggly than any other creature you will ever own. Oh my gosh. Yep. I think that's how it was. Okay, so I'm gonna take him and weigh him. And then after I weigh him, I'm going to weigh Ziggy, and then I'm going to put them up in the roof hammock because they haven't hung out there in a few days. And since they're about to eat, they won't get to hang out there for a while because, they'll be sitting on the hot end and hopefully sleeping. But if I know girlfriend, he will just annoy me. He will definitely go and sit on his cold end because he's a butt. I get him most of the way in. Okay, 2.9. Yeah, that's good. He was over 3, but that was before he'd gone to the toilet last time because he does like to wait a while before he goes to the toilet. But 2.95 is pretty good. Yeah, and I pick him up, and we're gonna go get Ziggy together. Yeah, I'm going to close that. Don't want the heat to get out for no reason. That's silly. Yep, go. Yep. Fluffy, he's going in. That little tub and Hazuki. She's in this hammock that I MacGyvered. Yeah, I was about to get her, and then I realised I should probably show you how cute she is. But of course her light isn't on. But her nose is just like sticking up. She likes to stick a little nose up in her little scroll. And she like has her nose sticking up because she's hilarious. Ziggy, my Ziggy. Ziggy, and girlfriend's like, I want to climb, and I'm like, no boy, I'm more stubborn than you. And you'll notice the size difference here pretty quickly. Don't even have to look at yeah, I'm laughing as I put her in. Like she's 1.2, but like look at it, look at the visual size. She's so small. This clip I've sped up. Now these are little tile wedges I use to secure the windows, but I used to just use pegs like this and they'd work fine. So whatever, according to my license, they need to be in a secured enclosure is the words. They don't need to be under a lock. What I do every time before I feed them is I take out their water bowls, and generally I'll pour that water bowl out like I have in that bucket, and I'll use that water to water my plants. I have pennies in there. If you want to know why, it's because it's copper, and copper is antibacterial. I got it from Emily at Snake Discovery. But yeah, I'm just cleaning out all the water bowls. And taking the pennies out. And the pennies, when they need to be cleaned, I just soak them in vinegar, or also just scrub them like I would the bowls. And the bowls, if they really need a big clean, hello Fluffy, hello baby, I will soak them in hot soapy water, or I use hot water and dish soap. Now for Fluffy, he gets extra special treatment because he takes forever to eat. I take just about everything out of his enclosure. I considered taking this hide out too, but he was in it and he was comfy and I wasn't going to disturb him. Now, there's snake feeding ahead, which means there are dead rodents, so stop watching if you don't want to see that. My advice to anyone who wants pet snakes is if you can't handle dead rodents, don't get snakes. Get something else. Get a bearded dragon. Get a blue tongue. Blue tongues will eat dog food. Fantastic. We're going to feed Ziggy first. I don't know why she's staring at the wall. She was looking out at me before. Now this teapot, it used to be Girlfriend's. Now it's Ziggy's, and when she grows out of it, I suppose I'll just have to get a new snake because I'm not getting rid of it. It's got sentimental value. She's eating an extra large rat. This is her second week eating a rat of that size, and she's doing really well. Look at her. So this is the sign of a good, healthy, hungry snake. Basically, a snake should almost always want food. If they're a healthy snake, if they're a good snake, if they're going to live a long time, the only times they really don't want food is when they're in shed. And even then, sometimes it's not that they don't want food, it's just that they're uncomfortable and it's just a bit too much. Next, we'll move on to my special boy, Fluffy. Fluffy is the most pet of all of my pet snakes. He's the one that really needs his mama. Yeah. Like, look at him. He hasn't even realised there's food. All the others have realised there's food. He has not. There you go. He's just getting a jumbo rat. And I'm going to put it in there. I'm probably going to poke him with it. Yeah, I'm going to poke him with it, and he will eventually realise that food is there. But it'll take him a while. Now, Fluffy, if he thinks I'm food, which can happen if he is smelling food really strongly and then sees my hand and I've been touching the rats and so it smells like food, he really won't let go and he bites down hard. Same with Girlfriend. If Girlfriend does bite me because I've been silly and I've been handling rats and then put my hand near him when he knows there's food. Oh, look at his little nose. I love how he sticks his nose out like that. Yeah, so I'm just like, no, I'm not going to. Yeah, see, look, he's coming out. And this is where he hasn't done this in a while. So what he's going to do is not eat it. He'll eat it eventually. Spoiler. But see, look at him. He's like, food? Where food? Food. Mum, you gave food? Food? Mum, mother, where's my food? And here are my big long tongs. And I'm going to try and offer him food with my left hand. Yeah, give him a little boop to be like, nope, tongs aren't food. Stay in there. Nothing. Oh my gosh. He is, yep, an idiot. Yeah, see, look, he even striked at the food, but he didn't strike properly. He was like, leave me alone. This is kind of the downside of taming up snakes. When snakes are still bitey, you can hit them on the face with the food you're trying to feed them, and they will eventually grab onto it, like bite it, because it's annoying them too much and because it's like a predator, it's trying to attack them. And then they'll realize it's food. When you've tamed up a snake to just realize that biting does nothing, they don't really do that. They bite food. But Fluffy, I don't know why. He can smell food. He just doesn't think this is the food, but this is the food. And it's not that there's anything wrong with this food. He eats this food. Once he realizes it's food, he's just special. Now we're going to watch a much more satisfying feeding, because we're feeding Girlfriend. And Girlfriend, look at him. He's at the door. He's ready. And he's eating it. Just one little, is that food? Yes, it's food. Give me the food. And then he wraps around it like he should. And then he eats it. It's easy. But the issue is, if you open the door and don't have food there waiting for him, he will bring his whole body out. And that's when it kind of gets a bit dangerous and you're going to get bit. Doesn't do anything. They can't hurt you, but you just need to be careful of that. After they're all fed, I just take my trusty half vinegar, half water spray and just spray the heck out of that. Just like spray, so much spraying. Now I've saved these forceps because Fluffy is still confused. So I've left that so I can pick it up without both risk of getting bitten and having to touch a rat if I don't have to. So Ziggy, she's eating pretty well, but she is eating conveniently in a position that we can't really see because she's a yeah, and she just loves to watch me burn. Just some sort of girlfriend eating like a bloody champ, looking at me like, you're not going to take my food. I will eat it. I'm going to eat my food. Hello, buddy. See, once he kind of has food in his mouth, he's not shy. He's just going to eat it. One time he actually bit himself. He was so excited for food. He grabbed the food and also got his teeth under some scales. And I had to remove his teeth from the scales because he couldn't eat. I was concerned. I came back and 10 minutes later he hadn't started eating. And the whole time he did not let go of the food, but he let me kind of pull his teeth out of the scales while trying not to hurt his teeth and trying as little as I can to hurt the scales. And it worked eventually. Looking back, I should have just sprayed vinegar in his mouth and he would have let go, but he won't let go of his food if he has food. But that's a trick. If a snake bites you, vinegar and water or straight vinegar, it's not going to hurt him. Straight in the mouth, they'll let go every time. Almost guaranteed. Fluffy's still searching for food. Do you know where his food is? As per normal, that's his thermostat. I have turned it off because I don't know how long he's going to not eat. Or until he's going to start eating, and I don't want it to smell like crap, because even when he eventually takes hold of the food, it could still take him 4 hours. And I've put a towel over because he's apparently being shy. And now he's like, where's food? Mum, do you know where my food is? Do you know my food? And I'm trying to tell him where his food is, but I'm trying to lead him, and he's following my finger. He's like, where? What are you trying to tell me? What is this? He's a very special boy. So I'm trying to offer him his food again because obviously he's looking at me for food. He can smell that there's food in his enclosure, but he's lost it. I don't know where it is. And here's me trying to offer him food like a normal person again, and he's looking at it. He's interested because he goes towards it. He's always, you might say, that snake's not hungry, just take the food out. I know he's hungry. I know he can smell the food because he goes towards it. He's just an idiot and he doesn't realize that's his food. He gets scared of it. He's just... Okay, yeah, so he's eaten. What I had to do was what is called assist feeding. This is normally something you only have to do with hatchlings, but Fluffy's special and he's mama's boy. And I tried to earlier, but he was like, nah, I don't want it. But after being left in there for like an hour with a rat and really wanting food, eventually he accepted. So I didn't even really have to do much. I gently held his head with my hand and had to hold the rat with my other hand, and I put the rat at his mouth, and his mouth kind of just opened, so I didn't really even have to try. Put the rat in his mouth and kind of just held it in his mouth for a few seconds, and then after a few seconds he started moving towards it instead of away and trying to get his body to wrap around it. And then when I let go, he grabbed it. Now, here's the thing about Fluffy. Normally he will grab food pretty quickly, but he will then just hold it by the nose for hours. See, here's Ziggy, finished her food after about half an hour. See a little pudge. Oh, look at a little pudge. Yeah, and this is what I do with everything after we're done. Hot soapy water overnight, or normally because I forget about it. But hottest water out of the tap, dish soap, put it in there, and then in the morning I'll empty it out and then I'll wash it with soap and a sponge again. And then every time before I use it to thaw out some rats, I clean it again, just in case. You can hear me laughing because I was recording an earlier audio clip and I heard this like bang. from the direction, and I look over and she's tried to crawl into that top. Yeah, girlfriend's like, what the frick is happening? She's trying to look at it. She's trying to retain all of her dignity. She's tried to crawl into this top drawer, and it's fallen. See, I'm trying to put it back in, but it can't because she's. Snakes are idiots, okay? They are apex predators, but they are also idiots. So eventually I'll just leave it there, and you'll see in the next clip that she crawls to the top, and I put the drawer back, and she's fine. Today, she's crawled back into the drawer, so she can get into the top drawer fine. She was just a bit too stiff and tried to do a bit too much. So now that girlfriend's eaten, I'll give him back his water bowl with some fantastic camera work. I've already given Ziggy back hers. I gave hers back before she really even finished because she was eating on the other end. Girlfriend is hoping for more food. Unfortunately, his brother is probably going to eat his now, so he won't get the extras. That is sad for him. The last feed, I tried to give Fluffy 2 prey items, a smaller extra large rat, which he could eat. Like, he should be able to eat 3 of those, and then a jumbo. See, look, he's just wrapped his... Anyway, he ate the extra large, and then he completely refused the jumbo. So I went to give it to him, and he was just like, no. This is the next day. Fluffy is eaten. Look at his little pudge just there. And he's crawled under his favourite pot plant, or his terracotta pot, and I'm trying to squish him back under there. Yeah, no, I got his tail. There you go, baby. I just love his little nose in the middle of his scroll. Yeah, so he ate. Probably at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, hard to tell. This is what I also do the next day after they've eaten. Obviously, I turned his thermostat on after I realised he'd eaten, but I check their hotspot to make sure it's the right temperature, because especially after they've eaten, they need heat to digest. Otherwise, they're going to get sick. It's just not good. They need heat to digest their food. So I'm checking everything. I'm trying to check in where he is, and yeah, it's like 34 degrees in there, so it's fine. I had to kind of bump it down at one point because at the cold end it was 31, which is too high. It should be 34 to 29. So you should have a hotspot 34, 35, or for these guys, for jungle carpet pythons. I'm checking on girlfriend in his favourite little sphagnum moss box. You can see like there's a hotspot there that can get up to 42, but it's just like depending on where I put the laser. But at girlfriend's cold end, it gets to like 29, and it's quite good. I'm checking. No, I'm going to look at, yeah. And then I'm going to go down and check Ziggy's temperature. Now, earlier this morning when I woke up, so now she's in the top drawer. She's fine. She's loosened up a bit. She's stopped being such a Gumby. My baby. Earlier that morning, she was in this hammock, which she loves. And I do, just up in the left there's a halogen lamp with a thermostat and a little kind of makeshift cage around it-ish. She doesn't climb up there, so it's fine. But the thermostat, so it stays about 29 in here, which is good for a cold end, but it's not good for eating. But I'm noticing that this end isn't warm enough, and so this is why I do these checks. And I realize in a second it's because the thermostat probe has gone to a stupid place, and later today I moved it again. So yeah, this is why I check, especially after they've eaten, because they need heat. I didn't realize this video was going to be so long. Thank you for staying around.